Alright, let's see. Did you know that this book right here, the Lectures on Faith, used to be part of the Doctrine and Covenants, but was removed in 1921? So why was it removed, and is it still relevant today? Well, let's talk about it. Let's go back to the origins of the Doctrine and Covenants. In November 1st of 1831, Joseph Smith held a conference. And in that conference, him and the elders that were present decided to publish a new book of scripture. They wanted to put together all of Joseph Smith's revelations that he had received into one volume, so it could be readily accessible to those who wanted to read them. And they were going to call this volume of scripture the Book of Commandments. So 2 years later, in 1833, they began to print them out. And as they were printing them, a mob of anti-Mormon settlers attacked the printing press and destroyed it. And along with the printing press, they destroyed most of the copies of the Book of Commandments. So this stopped the production of the Book of Commandments, and the church tried again in 1835. But this time around, they made a few changes. In the beginning of the book, they added 7 lectures, which are theological and doctrinal lectures that were prepared by Joseph Smith and other elders. These lectures are what we know now as the Lectures on Faith. And because of this new edition of these lectures, they gave the book a new name. Instead of the Book of Commandments, they gave it the name that we have now, the Doctrine and Covenants. So the new book, the Doctrine and Covenants, consisted of the first half being these 7 lectures, and the second half being all the revelations that Joseph Smith received. So the new title, the Doctrine and Covenants, was given because of the Lectures on Faith. The Lectures on Faith were considered the doctrine of the book, and the revelations or sections that we have now were considered the covenants. So that's how we got the name, the Doctrine and Covenants. So the first edition of the Doctrine and Covenants was published in 1835. So from 1835 to 1921, the Doctrine and Covenants consisted of the Lectures on Faith and the Revelations. But in 1921, the First Presidency and the Quorum of 12 Apostles got together and decided to remove the lectures from the Doctrine and Covenants. Now there's multiple possibilities of why they chose to remove the lectures from the Doctrine and Covenants. The main one is that, the lectures weren't revelations. They were just teachings. Amazing, profound teachings and lectures, but not revelations. And I think they felt like they needed to be a revelation to be included in scriptural canon. And the last reason that I have is that some of the teachings in the Lectures on Faith are not very clear or a little confusing or hard to understand the way they were written. So I think that's another reason why they felt to remove them from the scriptural canon and just leave the revelations as part of the Doctrine and Covenants. With that being said, the Lectures on Faith are still amazing, profound teachings, and I highly recommend all of you to go out and read them for yourselves.